Right. Okay, well, it's time now to take a look at some of the stories in the news and out there in pop culture that have people talking.
Oh, big time. Psychotherapist Dr. Robi Ludwig joins us on the couch to discuss. So, man, you two couldn't stop talking about this seconds ago. This young Robin Thicke and Paula Patton, what's going on?
Oh, didn't we feel sad about that? Because they were childhood sweethearts, probably each other's first love. This can happen in Hollywood, as we see all the time, and each time we see it, we get a little disappointed because we're hopeful that these glamorous couples, one will survive and thrive.
But wait a minute, as I was eavesdropping on your conversation, it didn't seem like either of you were terribly surprised.
Well, there are rumors out there that he's somewhat of a cheater, and that's probably what instigated this separation or this divorce. I don't know, I wasn't there, but you know, that's the rumor. And it's very hard when you have a partner who cheats to have the level of trust that a relationship needs in order to survive.
But Paula would always and whenever she was in the press, she would just say, oh, he's a flirt, he's this. She would kind of brush it off. And then she also called them the most dysfunctional or functional dysfunctional couple. That's what she said about this. So what do you think about that?
Well, I guess it was more on the dysfunctional side than functional, and maybe for a while it was on the borderline and they were able to manage it. But sometimes with extreme fame, it exaggerates a person's character flaws and strengths. And sometimes we see, you know, egos can get in the way. So you have a combination of extreme fame, a big ego, a good-looking guy who likes to flirt, very seductive, and I could see where a wife would say, you know, I've had enough. I don't know many women who like husbands who flirt, but especially if they can't trust their husband, it's usually a deal breaker. Having said that on a positive note, I could see this couple getting back together because I think on one level they're almost like family to one another. They've been in each other's lives for so long.
They're middle school sweethearts.
Right, so I could see after the fame dissipates a little bit, I can see them coming together and supporting one another. Maybe later in life, I don't know when that would be, but I could see it happening.
Well, and they have their one son as well. Yeah. They need to co-parent, and you know, he twerked his way out of that relationship.
That's working. How about Amanda Bynes? She took a cop to plea on the DUI thing?
Well, hopefully Amanda is taking responsibility for her own mental health. I know she was receiving psychiatric treatment. Sometimes we see with patients who have mood disorders and thought disorders, they self-medicate with alcohol. I think her family is aware of her condition. Hopefully she is, because she's a great talent. And I think we'd all like to see her get well so she could do the great work that we're used to seeing her do.
What do you think the chances are of a comeback, though? I mean, we've seen her actually going to class and living a more structured life.
I think it's really good. I mean, there are people that suffer from a break with mental illness early on, and they get the treatment they need and they can recover. And I think we need to see in this society people who suffer from mental illness can come back, get the right treatment, and be strong and a productive member of society. It certainly happens quite a lot. And America loves the comeback. We all do, because it's comforting to us. We all go through, you know, great times in our lives and then horrible times, and we like to know that we can get through the darkness and succeed.
Well, she could be a great example for those who suffer from the same disorder.
I'd love to see her be a spokesperson, talk honestly about what she's experienced, so we can eliminate the shame and humiliation that people who suffer from mental illness often feel.
The most celebrated are the rehabilitated.
That's true.
That's right.
They can come back.
That's right.
All right. Well, you know about this Arizona legislation?
So disturbing. I was reading about the legislation. I was like, what are we, in the 1950s?
What are they saying? What are they?
Well, basically, they were supporting certain businesses who had religious issues with people who were, gay or transgendered, something along those lines, stating that store owners could prevent them from coming in and shopping at these particular stores under religious rights. But there is a separation between church and state. It is outrageous that a legislation would go through. I can't see it lasting, but I'm wondering if that's just me being hopeful, but it just doesn't even sound legal to me.
Do you think there's a legitimate chance of it passing, or?
If by chance it does pass, I could see it being overturned, because I just can't see where it legally could sustain itself. It doesn't sound legal to me.
No, absolutely not.
No. It just says the shrink. It doesn't sound legal to me. When I went to law school, it didn't sound legal.
You did the right thing. Well, Dr. Robi Ludwig, always a pleasure to have you join us on the couch. Appreciate your insight.